Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review. I'm here today to talk to you about a show I used to watch back when I was a teenager. The show came out in 1999 and it lasted all the way into 2002 and it lasted for 3 seasons. It only had 3 seasons in its contract and then they just decided not to renew it for a fourth. Um, the first 2 seasons are my fave. The first one is definitely my fave. I really like the second one. The third one's not all that great. So that's kind of probably why, they didn't like renew it because it kind of went a little hokey a little bit. Then again, I heard rumors that the actress kind of didn't want to return, but I don't know. So it's one of those things you just like never know. And the show is called Relic Hunter. It was a really awesome show. Like it was basically like Indiana Jones meets Laura Croft Tomb Raider. And so instead of calling her a Tomb Raider, she was called a Relic Hunter. And so she's an archaeologist and she's also a professor at a college called Trinity College. Basically, it's like this. The main star, played by Tia Carrere, she is called Sydney Fox, and like I said before, she's a professor at a college. And pretty much people will come to her asking her to like look for these like ancient relics, and 'cause they want to restore them back to like their homeland or to their rightful owner or to museum and stuff like that. So she will always have to like stop teaching just to go do that. And she would take her assistant named Nigel. Now, Sydney, she was an extremely intelligent woman. She was brave. She was fearless. She could fight. She wasn't afraid to throw down. She wasn't afraid to like jump into something. She was really good at like fencing, and like she had like all these contacts all around the world from her traveling, and she knew like all these people and other relic hunters, and the other relic hunters, they would sometimes be in competition with her. Sometimes they will betray her. Sometimes the people who ask her to help her find something, they will betray her. Also, she wasn't afraid to get like sexual if need be, like take off her clothes and like run around with her bra. The show sexualized her because it was the 90s and Tia Carrere looks the way she does, and I think she used to be like a model before then and something. I think also she was like very well known from that Wayne's World movie. So they were trying to like capitalize on that, but despite sexualizing her, it didn't take away from her intelligence or her bravery. She was one of those like early, like, strong women characters and stuff. But it's sad that a lot of people just don't know of this show. And I mean, it is a great show. So the show ran for 3 seasons, like I said before, and it ran for a total of 66 episodes, 22 each. And they are very, very entertaining. The show was filmed in Canada, and man, let me tell you, every pretend place they went to, you seriously thought they was really in that location. Like they really dressed it up to look like it was in that location. Canada got some exotic places, man. Like I'm telling you. Like there was times I really thought they was in like the jungle and the rainforest and all this other stuff. One thing I really loved about this series was the intro. Now, I'm an old school person when it comes to TV. I love my intros. And I hate this modern day crap of like a title card sequence. I hate that crap. I miss a good old fashioned intro. And boy, let me tell you, this is one of the top notch intros. But it did last a little bit too long. Now, the music of the show was like it got you hooked. The moment you heard it, it got you pumping and stuff. So that was also really awesome. And Nigel, he was played by Christian Anholt, I believe his name is. Nigel was her assistant, and he was highly intelligent as well. But he was very shy, very timid, laid back, and he was comedic relief. Him and her had some extremely good chemistry together. Like they would just be placed in like situations where it just be so hilarious. And so like The one cool thing I love about that show is that they didn't do the whole trope of like having the two lead characters be romantically linked. They were just like partners, you know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah, he did find her attractive, but whenever he'll see her like half naked or whatever, he'll like turn his head and like freak out or something. But yeah, he would like accompany her on all her missions except for one, and that's when he had to go look for her because somebody had kidnapped her. Claudia, she was played by Liddy Booth, and she left after the second season. You might know her from the famous Jet Jackson, and I think the Librarians and stuff. But she left after the second season, and I remember, I think that's when the Jet Jackson movie came out. But she got replaced by a character named Karen. I forgot the actress name. Karen, she was in the third season. I don't really remember too much about the third season because I really don't like the third season. But like she was more like confident than Claudia was. But I don't think she accompanied them on their missions. Now she also has like another assistant, like office assistant named Claudia. Claudia is dense in the head. She's very, very vain, very stupid. She's all about fashion. She's the little goober girl, you know. She only got that job because like one of the donors to that college, you know, wanted her to work there because that's like her father and stuff. She doesn't accompany them on their missions. She's only like accompanying them on maybe like one or two. There was this one episode where they really tried to like flesh out her character and make her really important to the plot. But it was just so forced and contrived, you know? Every episode will start off like this. It will start back in a flashback and they'll give you the year and location of where the artifact will be at. And then you have like these characters from like in the old days interacting and they will show how the artifact got like lost. And then it will cut from that and go into like the future, present day, where either you'll see Sydney on another mission or you will see like her at the school and somebody there asking her for her help. So with Sydney being a professor of ancient studies, that really came in handy. Like when it comes to the artifacts they will look for in the first season, what's something I really appreciate is that not every artifact has some kind of like mystical, magical thing to it. Like it would be something that would be like a myth, rumor, something like that, but you really wasn't sure if like, you know, there was actually any like stock in like the magic elements of that artifact. But a lot of people believed into it. But then there would be some that were. I remember after like Wikipedia was a thing, I looked up all those artifacts that was on the show to see if any of them was real. And no, sadly there wasn't. They were just all like made up and stuff. Now there was a really cool episode where this guy, he was tracking down like Elvis guitar. He was like a friend of Elvis and stuff. And I was actually thinking, could this be real? Like, would this dude really be like a friend of or the character be a friend of Elvis and tracking down his legendary guitar? Nope, sadly it was not. Every time Sydney would be like in hand-to-hand combat with somebody, I always got like a Xena feel. But it didn't look as like crazy as the Xena stuff, all the flipping around the air and stuff like that. But it was some pretty good, nice hand-to-hand combat. And it was fighting in every episode, and I loved it. I loved the chases. I love when people were shooting at them. I love when they be fighting with swords. I love when they be punching and kicking people. Like, this was just like a great syndicated show. And it was syndicated. That's one reason why a lot of people don't know about it. When I say Nigel was comedic relief, I mean he was comedic relief. Okay, there was this one episode where Sydney was flying a plane, and some guy somehow hopped on the plane and snuck aboard when she didn't know it. And it was another relic hunter, and he stole these really cool looking daggers that she had found. And so he shot at the plane, the control, so it would crash land and kill her. And so after the thing crash landed, she landed at like a nun house. And so, well, her clothes wet and damaged, they gave her like a nun outfit. And so when Nigel came to like meet her, he mistaken her for like a nun. And when she turned around, he was like, "Oh my God, did you convert yourself?" Or something like that. He does it a whole lot funnier, but it's just like he flipped completely out. And it was just hilarious. And then in that whole episode, he ended up like crushing on like one of the nuns who was like really young and stuff. She was out of her nun outfit. I think she was just going there. And then towards the end of the episode, he decided, you know what, I'm gonna take some holy time off and go to like a monk type place. And then so Claudia started calling him being her obnoxious, crazy self. And he was just trying to have like this spiritual like um convergence and stuff, and it was just like really hilarious. Now, when things got halfway, just like in the second season and mainly in the third, all of the artifacts started to be like hocus pocus, magical type stuff, and that what really got to me. 'Cause I'm just like, it took away from the realism of the show and the was it or wasn't it type thing, you know? And it's kind of like that was one of the fun things about it. Was kind of like, is this artifact magical? Is it not? But then in the third season, you straight up know it is, and it's just like, whatever, you know? Like when the show got a little hokey, there's this one episode where there's like a cult of vampires, and Sydney has to fight them. I'm not sure if this is the episode where these vampires make people, make guys fall in love with them, because they made Nigel like fall in love with them, and Sydney had to rescue him. But I do remember there was an episode where there was these cult of people, of women that had made men fall in love with them. There was this one episode where this one guy wanted to be like the greatest lover in the entire world. So he had Sydney go look for like Casanova's The Book of Love. This was one of more of those slightly paranormal type things where you couldn't really tell if it was or not. But pretty much every time everybody had this book in their hand, somebody would like start like falling for them. Alrighty, well I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.